And we're going to get started. Dwayne and Gary, and we have a lot of people here. I'm very excited to be here today. I know that we've been doing the Magnet 2.0 preview for a month already, and I just want to get cracking. News trading has changed. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10 Minute Trades. Please remember, all the trades that we discussed today are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully. Don't trade money you cannot afford to lose. Okay, so just as a heads up, I'm going to give you a little bit of background about 10-minute trades, but mostly what I want to talk about today is Magnet 2.0. I've got a few people that are upset with me because it's not out yet, but that's a good thing. It's people are excited and they want to trade the new software, and I'm excited. I want to get it released as soon as possible. But just so everybody understands what we do, we use the NinjaTrader platform. That's what our software loads into, and we trade futures. Okay, so we happen to also trade stock earnings, but we use futures. So it's important that when you deal with us, you know what you're doing, you know what you're getting into, no surprises. Ninja Traders, the platform we recommend, and we are trading futures. We have a system at 10 Minute Trades, and every webinar I go through what we do. So I'm going to do this a little bit more quickly than usual so I could spend most of the time on the magnet. We have a system. We have four elements that make up the system: weekly schedule, daily schedule, the DMM, daily market mover, weekly market movers, our weekly schedule, trade room access, of course, and software. Our software is made up of three strategies. We've got NewsTrader software that has multiple different setups built into it. Reverse continuation is built into it. Range trade is built into it. The breakout trade, the spike trade. Then we have our magnet strategy that we're going to talk about at length. And we have our trap trade strategy. That's a specialized reversal trade. Those are the three strategies that we have at 10 Minute Trades, and they load into NinjaTrader and they become a part of the platform. So the elements in our system are as follows: the weekly market mover. The week starts, we send out a schedule. Then we have our daily trade reports. If an event gets a daily trade report, then we send it. Not every event has a report. Some events are what we call trade room events. They're events that we just talk about and discuss in the trade room. They don't have reports because maybe it's new. Maybe it's a setup that changes all the time. Sometimes you have inconsistent setups, but we still may want to take the opportunity. So all of the elements that make up our system would be the weekly schedule, daily trade reports, trade room access, all of our strategies. That's what our system is based around. Our weekly schedule lists a lot of information in a very small amount of space. The name of the event we're looking at, a week's full of events that we tell traders this is what we think is going to move the markets the most this week. It also shows when our trade room opens. Okay, our trade room, we leave the room open all week long so people can go in and talk to each other and trade setups, but we are not there except on a schedule. And we moderate the room on a schedule because that's very important to understanding how we do things. We do things on a schedule, and it's a great way to trade. You don't have to watch the charts all day long. You can pick the best times, the times that you expect the markets to move the most, and those are the times that we are in the room, in addition to very specific news events or market moving events that we're going to trade. Then we have our daily trade reports. Like I said, many of our events get the coverage of a daily report. Those reports we send to our members the day before the event takes place so they could practice the trade. It has a trade setup on it. It has some history of the event, and it sometimes even has a journal of previous ways that this event has behaved. The way that we do things is quite different than the way that many other companies do things. We're not necessarily looking specifically at indicators in the same way that other companies do. We're looking at indicators that are responding around the news. And the first thing that we look at is the behavior of an event around the news. And we might look at that event for 6 months. If it's a monthly report, we might look at it 6 weeks in a row. But suffice it to say, we are looking at an event over and over again, and that's how we come up with our setups. We trade the events that behave the most consistently around the news. So, for instance, if we are going to trade the FOMC statement, that means that when the FOMC statement is released, the market moves in a somewhat predictable way to allow us to set up a trade. And it does move that way. We have a very specific trade around the FOMC statement, and it's an excellent trade for us. We make money on this trade. When the FOMC releases their news, we use our trap trade method. Our trap trade is a specialized reversal trade. But the beauty of what we're doing these days, not only do we have one setup available to trade, very often during one event, we might have easily 2 or 3 different setups that traders can use. You could trade all of them. You can choose which one you want to trade. Some people don't like to trade at the exact moment of the news. And we do a lot of trading around the news. And that especially is what magnets are great for. A lot of times what happens is the news gets released and then a magnet comes into play. And I'll talk about what is a magnet in a minute. But I just wanted to show you a quick FOMC trap trade. On the left side of the chart here, we are expecting the news to get released, and then we are going to sell the market if it goes up, and we're going to buy the market if it goes down. We're expecting a reversal trade. So that's what our trap trade is. And very often, the FOMC does just that. The news comes out. If the market goes up, you could see these little X's here. Those are our orders. If the market goes down like it just did in this December report, we bought the market and we moved our targets into a place where they would get hit if the market reverses, which it often does with the FOMC. The market reversed, it took out our first target, and then we moved our stop to safety. It changed direction, gave us about a $300 profit, and we exited the trade. That was trading the ES. We also had a magnet trade we were looking at on the MES, but suffice it to say, the FOMC for us is a very good trap trade right now, and that's one of our very popular setups. Remember, trap trade, breakout trades, range trades, magnet trades, all part of our software strategies. Appointment-based trading, the method is simple. It's based on time, and it's pre-planned. That's very important. We're planning our trades in advance. We know at the beginning of the week when we're going to trade. We know when we're going to be in the trade room, and you can schedule your trades. We usually like to schedule a week to 2 weeks in advance, but there's really no time frame that you can schedule. You could schedule them whenever you want. There are 3 main trigger categories that our trades exist in. So what do those categories mean? You might have high impact economic reports like today's jobs report or a GDP report. Those are categories under which our events take place. You might have lots of breakouts with jobs reports. You might have trap trades. We study the behavior of the event, and that's how we determine which strategy to use. Category number 2, very simple, earnings reports. Earnings reports move the markets. When Broadcom comes out with their earnings, usually they move the market and there's an opportunity to make money on that trade. So for instance, one of our members made a significant amount of money trading Broadcom, over $800 trading Broadcom earnings. We traded the NQ futures, and when the price shot up, it was a breakout trade, and our member was able to take advantage of that trade for over $800 in profit, and he was in the market for about 30 seconds because the move was over instantly. Category number 3, market open and closes. We trade every morning. We're in the trade room trading the oil market open, and we're in the room trading the U.S. market open. This morning, we made money on the oil market. Let me see if I have that video. I wasn't originally going to show it, but let me show it. We traded the oil market open. Let's see what we got here. So that was at 9 o'clock. The oil market opens at 9. Now, you could see this is my chart. We were in this trade for quite a few minutes. The way that our trade works on the oil open, we create a range. Our software creates a range. When the range gets broken, if it gets broken to the upside, we go long. If the range gets broken to the downside, we go short. This morning, price was moving up, and I absolutely wanted to get filled long. Our orders, X's, those little X's are our orders. They went on the chart 40 seconds after the open. We got filled long. Immediately, the price almost hit our first target. Then it pulled back, looked like it was going to be a problem. Then it hit my first target, pulled back, took me out of the trade. Very easy winner in about 3-4 minutes on oil. Very nice winner. Market opens and closes also after oil. We made instant money on the MNQ open. We also trade the US market open. That's something we do every week. We did not get stopped out one time this week on the MNQ open. Every day it worked. There are literally hundreds of these triggers within these categories. So if you think about it, you have tons of market opens. You've got the 6 p.m. open. You've got the oil open. You have the gold open. You got the silver open. There's lots of different opens that you could learn to trade. So there's lots of triggers within these categories. You've got plenty of earnings. United Health, Home Depot, there's plenty of companies that we like trading their earnings because they deliver steady profits. And then also the market closes. And of course, the regular news events are DNA, the breakout trades, trap trades, and range trades. Dozens and dozens of them always on the calendars. That's how we find the trades. ForexFactory.com. We open up Forex Factory, you press the word calendar, you get a full week of events. We vet these events, we go through them, and we find what we feel are the best ones to trade, and that's how we come up with our schedule. There's quite a few different calendars that we look at. ForexFactory.com, Investing.com. They all have a system where they show you the events and they rate the events by their impact. Each calendar has a slightly different way of doing it. Forex Factory uses color to show you which are the most impactful. Investing.com has a little star system, but it doesn't matter. The point is, we're going to vet these events, and that's what we talk about in our trade room, which events are the best to trade. Then we have 2 other websites that we like very much, and those are free. When we're looking for earnings trades, we use a website called earningswhispers.com. It's an excellent, excellent website, and we make our earnings schedule based on earningswhispers.com. And of course, there's other methods we look for, but they have great info. They show you their best of the best at the top, or their most popular earnings that are coming up, and then you can just simply go to their calendar, go to next week on Monday, see if there's anything there. It's still quiet. The banks are just getting started. If you go later in the week, it gets a little busier. Next week, you'll see that almost all the banks, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. But not only does it show you the names of the companies, if you click on the company, you get some very useful information that we use when we're trading earnings and using the futures. It shows the chart, so it's very nice. We get to see the chart of the previous earnings. Also, it shows us the date of the previous earnings and whether or not it might have been on time. It's very important to us that earnings be released on time so that we can have a reliable trade setup. If earnings are random every quarter, then it's very hard to set up trades. We're looking for companies that release their earnings in a consistent manner so we can create a consistent trade setup. And there are many of them and a lot of good ones. Apple and Amazon, plenty of good ones. United Health, Home Depot, Caterpillar. I could go on and on and on. And they're fun to trade also. Finally, we use a website called Financial Juice. They have something that we use all the time, a Squawk Box. And it's not free, but if you subscribe to Financial Juice Pro and you get their live news feed, you can wear a headset. And while you're trading, you can hear the news in your headset. That helps us determine if we're going to stay in a trade while the news is being released. After it's been released, we have an idea how the news might affect the market. So that to us is a great tool as well. Okay, the way that we trade is acceptable for prop accounts. Every prop account company has different rules. Some are better than others when it comes to trading news. Some don't allow news. So if you're going to trade the way that we are, if you're going to trade any type of system, you should always, of course, read the rules of the prop account company that you want to use and make sure they allow you to trade the way that you want to trade. Magnets are very, very amenable to prop trading, and there's a reason for that. Magnets are very consistent. If there is an issue with breakouts, it's that one breakout might be a $500 profit. Then you might have a $1,800 profit. Then you might have a $300 loss. You have big moves possible in breakout trades, and prop accounts don't like that inconsistency. They love a 300 winner, a 200 winner, a 400 winner, a 350 winner. Magnets are more stable, less volatile, and more prop account friendly. So let's get right into it now. Finally, just one more thing, which I did explain, our software. Strategies, they're custom add-ons to NinjaTrader. In the strategies are multiple setups, and you can semi-automate or fully automate many of the trades that we take. Our software is a super ATM, an automated trade manager. It can handle moving your stops, trailing your stops, moving and putting your targets on the chart, moving and changing many aspects of the trade. That's what a trade manager does, an ATM. So if you're using NinjaTrader and our software, you don't really have to learn the language, excuse me, that NinjaTrader uses to write ATMs. You can just use our software to enter your trades. And our software has a ton of features that many people don't even know about. We can trade unattended. We have a system that you can trade if you're not at your computer. Do we recommend it? Not really. You're better off watching what you're doing. But if there's a trade that's profitable all the time or over and over and over, and you're going to be out to lunch, it is possible to use our software, set the trade up, and to protect the account. You could tell the software, well, if I lose $500, cancel the trade. So you could protect your account if you use some of our features. Our software, in my opinion, is really fantastic. We've spent years updating it, and that's what we're doing right now. We're in the middle of a big, big magnet upgrade. When we first designed the magnet, I knew it was an exciting way to trade and that it was a really good thing to develop. So let me talk first and tell you why. Two of the words that you don't say in trading are always and never. And that's because the market never does things over and over the same, and nothing is done always in the market. It never always does this or always does that. We never use the words always and never, but with magnets, Magnets we can use always, which is a big deal. Magnets, I believe, will always be around. They're never going away. So for the first time, we can use the terms always and never in trading. But in order to do that, you have to understand what a magnet is. Magnets are levels on the chart where tons of orders are placed because they are common areas that many, many traders look at. So what does that mean? What would be a magnet? So a magnet would be a high of day or a low of day. That's a magnet. Areas on the chart that tons of people commonly look at and place their orders around, so price gets pulled into those areas. Those are magnets. VWAP is a magnet. In other words, how many times during the day do you see the VWAP get tested? Tons of times during the day. How many times a day do you see the high of the day get tested or the low of the day get tested? Some days they're tested over and over and over. That's opportunities for trading. Our software, we noticed with our news trading, we noticed so often after the news, sometimes before the news, these levels would just get tested over and over. So we wanted to write a strategy that would take advantage of these tests. And that's what our original magnet strategy was. So we designed the software to exit the trade when it gets to the high of day or the low of day. That was the concept. Then we thought to ourselves, well, you know what? The VWAP, really everybody loves trading around the VWAP, and that's a pretty popular level that gets tested during the day. Why don't we try and think about doing it with the VWAP? But how are we going to do it? So we added a feature called custom level. So we actually, in our original magnet strategy, we actually have two trading systems, high of day, low of day, and custom level. Custom level lets you type in any price on the chart, and that becomes an area that you're going to plan on exiting your trade. Then what we did is we wanted to give the software the ability to move orders, to place orders around these levels. So first, let me show you a magnet trade. So here is a recording of a magnet that we took using, this was using, I think, oil, or natural gas. It doesn't matter. Here's the thing. The beauty of magnets, they all the instruments that you like to trade have magnets. If you like trading the ES, doesn't the ES have a high and a low of day on the chart? If you put it there, doesn't the ES test the high and low of the day often? Doesn't natural gas do it? So if you look at this chart, that little red dotted line is the low of the day. The heavy line is our entry, our order entry line. We put that order entry line on the chart, and then what happens is, very often, price action gets pulled into the magnet. So we are exiting 3 ticks before we get to the magnet for our first position. We also have the ability to put a second target on. It could be anywhere you want. Normally, what you do at your second target is make it go through the magnet. For instance, if the magnet gets filled and you go 10 ticks past it, your first target might be at the magnet. Your next target will be 10 ticks later. So just like any trade, you can have multiple positions. So we put those orders on the chart, but we realized we want to move those orders around. So I'll show you what we did. Here's another magnet trade, trading micro oil. We noticed that there was a possibility of the high of day being tested. Our software put the heavy line on the chart, which is our entry. Then watch what happens. We put the trade in automatic mode by turning the button purple. Now the button's purple. If our order is pierced, if our order level gets touched and pierced, we go long for a test of the high of the day. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. Oil's going to shoot up, and it's going to take us out of the trade as it, boom. And notice how it went through the magnet. That would have been a perfect second position magnet, 10 ticks beyond the magnet. So that was a perfect example of exactly what I was showing you and talking to you about. Let me show you a real chart. This is a real chart of gold at the moment. So for instance, if I want to put a high of day, low of day gold trade on the chart, right here where my cursor is the green high of day, right over here. Down below is the red low of day. Our magnet trade has an automatic setup, and it's real easy to do. I just choose magnet trade. I choose high of day, low of day. I apply it and I okay it, turn it on, and now I've got my orders which I can move for entry. So when the magnet turns on, it puts our orders on the chart, but I can move those orders. I can analyze the chart. I can use chart structure to place my orders in the best possible place. I can trade a different magnet. Remember how we said the VWAP is a magnet? In this instance, we were choosing high of day, low of day, but we can be pretty smart. We could move our low of day order, which is pretty far away from the current price. It's probably not going to come into play. But this VWAP over here, this may come into play. So instead of taking a short at the low, we could move our order above the VWAP, and we could do a test of the high if the market goes up, or a test of the low if it goes down to the VWAP. So we actually can trade multiple magnets with one setup. Using our high of day, low of day setup, we can also move our order so we could trade another magnet. Very, very clever way to trade. But the beauty also, how easy it is to just grab the line, put the order wherever you think is the right place. That's our high of day, low of day system. We can also automate it. When this magnet entry button is white, then if price goes through the magnet, it will blink. And it will tell you, it'll make a sound. And it'll tell you, hey, you have a trade, a possible trade coming up. Do you want to take it? Now, before I don't want to take a trade live right now. I haven't looked at the market because I was getting ready for this webinar. So let me just put it on sim at the moment. And the market seems to be pretty quiet right now too. So right now I'm in sim, but I'm looking at gold. Also have MES, and I'll put MNQ on because MNQ is a very busy instrument generally. We like trading the MNQ. But our gold magnet, we're just looking, I'm looking at price, so easily can put that high of day, low of day magnet on. Just by enabling high of day, low of day, I can put two orders. I can control whether it's long or short and turn on the trade. When you turn on the magnet in the control center, turn on the magnet in the control center by actually enabling it, we get all of our own control center, which allows us to set up our orders, put our orders at the right level that we feel there will be a good possibility of a fill. And if we want it to be automatic, we turn the entry button purple. When the button's purple, the magnet trade is automated. If it's white, what happens is if the price breaks our order area, the button will blink purple and make a sound letting you know there's a magnet trade, and you could press the button to enter the trade. Also, now that's the existing version. In our new version, we have a lot more features also. In the magnet entry, if you hover over the button, all versions show you in the high of day, low of day, it shows you your sell price and your buy price and the target. Very, very handy. Very, very handy. Someone is asking, can you go long and not short? You can control the direction, okay? If you're above the VWAP, generally you're going to go short to the VWAP. If you're below the VWAP, generally you're going to go long into the VWAP. We also have built into our new system a whole methodology of taking reverses to that whole concept. So here's something that happens all the time with all different news setups. The news comes out, a new high of day is made or new low of day is made, and then after a little bit of time, there's a complete change of direction. We wanted to find a way to take advantage of those changes in direction. So we added into our magnet system a whole full-blown trading system called aftershock reversal. We analyze a variety of different things, including the squeeze, price action, VWAP. We can analyze the VWAP. We look at volume, and then our software generates signals. If we have a high of day, low of day signal generator, we have a VWAP, and we have a signal generator that's based on indicators that we look at. We put about 4 important indicators on our magnet trading charts. Pivots, the PP is a good magnet. The VWAP is a good magnet. High of day, low of day is a good magnet. Now, you can also, if you want to, any level can be a magnet because you can type in any level you want as a custom level. So let's say you look at fibs or you look at the Elliott waves and you have a price you think price is going to test, that the market's going to test. Maybe you think 4,500 on gold is super important today and you want to set up a magnet around 4,500. So I can call up the strategy, choose custom level, type in 4,500, that's the price point, and watch what's going to happen. Turn on my trade, and I get a potential order at that level. Now, I could either exit at that level, I can enter at that level, okay, because that's where my order line is, or I could set the trade up for a test of that level. Right now, we are above 4,500. So if it's going to test that level, it's going to test it as a short. So my entry is going to be above that level. So I move my order entry, the thick line. Maybe I want to be $3 above 4,500, and I tell the software short only by pressing the short button. And I can even automate it by turning the entry button purple, and now I have a trade going to that specific level. In the new version, I can also target specific pivots, specific levels that we like, that we want to target, and I can do it in real time. I can make sure that I can go back to high of day, low of day. If I decide I want to do high of day, low of day, I just use my control panel and I can turn back on the high of day, low of day. I can turn back on just our automated signals. We have a standalone signal system. I can tell it, don't give me a signal unless you get a couple of momentum bars to check. In other words, if you take every signal with only one momentum bar, there's probably going to be too many signals. So we can increase the momentum bars to make the signals a little bit more reliable. See, now all of a sudden I've got way less signals. Look how good this signal was. This long signal was phenomenal. This short signal initially went up, but eventually it had an excellent profitable trade. Our signal system, I love it. It's really being worked on. It's been one of the reasons we're slightly delayed, because it's very important to try to get signals as good as possible. But we have a literal standalone signal system within our magnet strategy. You can choose ARS standalone, and you could just trade the signals. You can choose just trade the signals after the market makes a new high of day, new low of day. And you can also trade very specific custom levels. We can target, for instance, and let me start over. And I don't know what I had loaded here. I'm going to remove and just bring back my strategy. So if you look at this particular gold chart, and another thing, just as an aside, we no longer have to teach you, we will teach you, and I will show you how to set up your charts exactly like mine. Because I think that everybody should know how to very simply set up your charts, just like these, for trading magnets. Because this is what we think your chart should look like for maximum capability in trading our magnet system. We include now in the new system a chart template that has all the indicators, our custom squeeze. It has the volume indicator we're using, the VWAP. We also know that not everybody has the NinjaTrader VWAP because not everybody is a lifetime NinjaTrader owner. So we include a VWAP as well. And it configures the chart almost just like ours, just a few minor setup modifications have to be made when you load the template in. It takes about 2 minutes, but it's a tremendous time saver because the template is our magnet trading template. So the other new thing that we do, and here's how quickly you can put a magnet on the chart. Let's say you just came back from lunch, you're looking at gold, and you're thinking, well, there's certainly a good chance it'll make a new high because it's $55 positive. But gold, and it sells, changes directions a lot. Maybe it's going to trade to the VWAP. So you could put the magnet on, put the strategy on, choose magnet, and not even decide what you're going to do. You could just set the trade up. So you have a trade. So I have a one position trade, and it's going to take me out at the magnet 3 ticks before it gets there. That's default. You could just leave that, trade a 1 contract or 2 contract trade to get out when it gets to the magnet. I'm going to update my stop, and that's all I need to do in the new version. Other thing before I go, I just want to tell it, trade the high of day, low of day signals and trade the VWAP signals. Now I'm going to turn the magnet on. Every trade that we trade, every setup we label. So if I'm trading a gold magnet, I label it gold magnet. And the reason I do that is because I might have multiple setups on one chart. And I want to know how they differ from each other. But I've labeled this a gold setup. I apply it, gold magnet. When I turn it on, remember, I didn't choose a magnet system yet. I just let it go on, and it's off right now. If you notice, this button here, it says off. This button in real time lets me choose the different magnets I want to trade. High of day, low of day system. There's my orders. Turn that off. And now I'm just generating signals. Now, it's generating signals based on what I had checked inside the software. So it'll generate high of day, low of day, or VWAP signals, because those are 2 very important signals we felt should have been part of the software. But we also want to trade a general signal level system, and we call that ARS standalone. That generates way more signals, but it's configurable by trending momentum bars and filters that we have built in as well. So we have a fully blown trading system within our magnet system. My favorite way to trade is high of day, low of day signals. Those are my favorites. like right here. So if you look back on what happened with gold this morning, after the 10 o'clock news, it started making new highs. And if you notice, if we go back, it started generating some very interesting signals. At 9, after the market opened, if you go back to when it started making the first earliest highs, those are the ones you want to look at first. But let's say you got in to trade at 9 o'clock. All right. So this is when you would have first started looking at gold. 9 o'clock gold, chopping around from the 6 p.m. open, which, by the way, is one of our magnets. And it made a new high at 9:10. And look what happened. It gave one of our fantastic ARS signals. That signal went down. It gave you a short signal. And this is just a random day, folks. This is just today. I didn't pick a winning day. This was just today. If you started trading at 9 o'clock, you got a 98 tick possible trade. Now let's take it at the worst place. I like to show the signal at the worst fill, not the best. So let me take it the next bar, a little bit more reasonable. That went down 68 ticks. Still a pretty nice gold trade that was available. Then the market opened, makes a new high. I'm anxiously waiting. Are we going to get another signal? There it is. I'm going to enter the bar after the signal because I don't have the signal until the bar closes. So I want to be fully transparent. I don't know that signal exists until the bar is done. So let's say I get my worst fill. I'm at this price level here. Let's see what the price did. Let's see. I'll leave my cursor. We're at 1 bar previous. Price went, look how far price went down before it went back up. The price goes down. It's more than 30 ticks. It's $10 a tick for gold. All right, it goes all the way over to here, 73 ticks. Gold is volatile. Gold is great to trade magnets. And we trade them all day long if you want. Now remember, I'm not sitting in front of my charts all day long. So I'm generally trading magnets around the news. That's when I like to trade them. So we can target these beautiful after a high or low signals. We can also target the VWAP. So for instance, if you're looking at the chart right now, and what I'm going to do is let me turn off our setup for a moment just to get it reset. No, I can't. I did something silly with the, oh, there we go. Good. I wanted to remove it. So you're in the market now. What's going on now? Not a whole heck of a lot. Gold pulled back a little bit. It looks like it's not going to make a new high, but maybe I think it's going to trade the VWAP. So I can turn my software back on, target the VWAP. All done without even going into the software inside. I could just go to custom level, target the VWAP, and now I've got an order line that I can use to target the VWAP. If price gets down above the VWAP here into this short, it'll fill me. I can automate it by turning it purple and putting it in auto mode. And it's a fantastic way to trade levels. That's some of the new features in our new version. The big thing, one of the things that has been slowing us down, we wanted to make the magnet system a fully blown, complete trading system. I'd rather be a little late with the software update than rush it and have something very important missing from the strategy. We added at the last minute, the reverse continuation setup will also be part of the magnet. Sometimes you just did a trade, or you just traded the news and the market's moving very fast. And as quick as it is to set up a magnet trade, maybe you just didn't have time, or maybe you were doing something else and you weren't paying attention. We also want the ability to take a separate setup called the reverse continuation. We put it on every trading chart that we trade. If we have a breakout, we also have a reverse continuation on that chart. If we have a range trade, we also have a reverse continuation on that chart. It's another independent setup that if we see the market moving in a direction and we want to take a trade real quick but safe because it's a scalp, any direction, long or short, reverse continue, all you need is a position size, how many contracts, a target, and a stop. That's all you need to set up a reverse continuation. You just choose the account. Remember, we label everything, GC reverse continue, but the beauty is you put it on the chart, apply it, okay it, turn it on. It can work with or without a magnet. The reverse continue trade shows you an instant long or an instant short button. Now, normally, if I'm trading a lot of different levels, I might do the reverse continue and I might have the magnet off and just trading for signals, right? Maybe the magnet is just going to go for signals. So I can then trade the reverse continue. Maybe I think the market's going up and I want to go long. So I take a quick long and I've got it programmed. I put a stop in, I put a target in, and the reverse continue is a completely separate setup that I could trade maybe while I'm waiting for a magnet to take place, or maybe while after the magnet is over. I might want to do another trade quicker than a magnet. So that's the beauty. The reverse continue lets you set up a whole other setup real quick, real easy, and it's quick and fast. That's part 2.0. Version 2.0 of the magnet is going to have the reverse continue setup built into the magnet. So I'm excited. I'm expecting the final version today, the programmer said. So now I just have to test it, make sure the bugs are out, and that's what we're gonna have. Let me just go to where I was in the files, in the slides, because we want to make everybody a great offer. No longer are we going to have to set up our charts prior to the magnet. You're going to have a template built in, and it's going to put on your chart the current day open, high, low, the pivots we use, the order flow VWAP or a special VWAP, volume up and down, the net change display, and the squeeze. Those are all the things we like on the chart for trading magnets. I showed you what triggers these trades. You can trade market opens with a magnet. Let me just show you what some of the things that transpired this morning while we were trading in the trade room. I made one short little video. All the different opportunities we had this morning. First thing that happened is the YM tested the VWAP. So watch what happens. It tests the VWAP and our signal system comes into play, and now it says take a long. And did it work? Sometimes it will. You got to use a decent size stop. You got to put your stop below the low on that trade. That was a beautiful, beautiful signal. Watch what the YM does. It goes up, breaks our magnet on the upside, fills the trade, hits both targets, two possible trades. Now, we didn't take that long because we were actually waiting for the magnet to take place. But you could, if you wanted to, just trade signals. It is possible to just trade signals. Or you could trade magnets and signals. So that was two opportunities very early before the market opened. It was just at 9:30. Then on the left side, we were trading our MNQ open. Not a magnet, just regular breakouts. and we had a winning trade trading the MNQ Open. Then we went and we were trading the revised University of Michigan. But while we were after that preliminary University of Michigan, not revised preliminary, after the news came out, we got a very nice magnet short. If you took that trade, let's see if it would have worked. It's not every trade's going to work, so you got to remember everything is not a winner. That particular magnet, our stop by the rules above the high, another winner. If you're going to trade these signals, you got to follow the rules. The rule is the stop is above the high because that's what's going to make it an invalid signal, making a new high. And we also have filters so you don't get killed if the market is making new high after new high after new high. In this particular case, even though it kept making new highs, the signal would have worked because it was not that much above the stop and you were kept in to the market. Anyway, I would be a liar and a fraud if I said that every signal worked. Every signal can't work. So you got to, of course, remember we're trading probabilities. And if you have a good system, many of the signals are going to work. So the ARS system, aftershock reversal, is after that shock of the news makes a new high, we're getting reversal signals and we're using the squeeze. So here's the deal, folks. I want to make everyone a great offer for 2026. If you've never been a member before, we want to offer you a trial to our system. If you've been a member before, we have an excellent price to join the trade room if you're not a member now, and I'll give you a link for both the trial that I'm going to offer if you've never been a member, and if you have been a member, let me post that price right now. Give me a second, because it's very, very reasonable to be a member of 10-Minute Trades. $97 a month, and you get absolutely everything. So this is, if you have been a member before, I'm posting it into the chat. And if you've never been a member, we have a phenomenal offer. Let me go over that offer for you right now. Here we go. Never been a member, you could join us for all of our news and earnings trade rooms, every trade room. All of our software is included, absolutely everything. All strategies, nothing is held back. It's a full trial, full pro membership, daily market mover, the trade reports that get sent the day before the news, they're part of the trial. Also, our trade room access, part of the trial. You can come into the trade room all week long. Every time we're there, you're invited. You have the trap trade strategy. You've got all the possibilities, the news trader software, which is the breakout, the spike trades, the magnet trade strategy. If you're a member, a trial member, and we happen to release the new version, you'll have access to the new version. We're not being unfair or holding anything back. You're a full-blown member, $20.26 for 30 days. It renews at $97 a month. That's our regular pro membership price. If you want to cancel, all you have to do is send us an email, help@10minutetrades.com, and that's in the, I'll show you that email address. Just go to www.gopro25.com to sign up. This is going to expire at midnight. So $20.26. New members, that's the catch. You have to have not taken a trial before. But if you have taken a trial, we have an awesome deal for you. It's in the chat. This will expire Sunday night. Everything is included. The News Trader software suite, Magnet software. You'll learn all about the appointment-based trading method. Choose the events. Learn to trade on a schedule. Learn the trap trade. I will teach you in the trade room, step by step. Every day we're in our trade room, going over the events, teaching how to use the software. Take the trial, www.gopro25.com. It's a deal and a half. Let me type that in also. Wasn't planning to type it in, but let me do it. We would love to have you join with us, learn about our system, because we really feel that if you take the time to spend a month with us, you're going to want to stay, and many, many people do stay. But if you don't want to stay, just send me an email, help@10minutetrades.com. The only thing we ask is please send the email before the billing period. That's the only rule. Send your cancellation before the billing period. Go to www.gopro25.com. Everything is included. Okay? Any questions, folks? Any questions? We'd love to have you join with us. Rory, I'm sure you're out there. I'm sorry I went over a little bit today, but I'm excited about the new magnet.